Hey, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Internet Friends, the episode where we directly sell our.
You cut that out.
He was right.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Internet Friends, the episode where we sell our data directly to the Communist Party of China.
And they can have it.
Ni hao.
Utter roaring
I was kidding. I do not wish violence on anyone. Ever.
I mean, actually,
Do not joke about that, dude. They are taking it very seriously.
Oh, you're doing great.
Oh, we are coping so well with this week.
Very healthy.
okay, so, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Let's start with that.
Not
I
well.
can be. Not well, bitch.
Okay, well, I feel like since we went ahead and kicked the door in at the beginning of the show, let's talk about the most timely thing going on, at least for us dumb Americans. TikTok ban got upheld. Called it.
Yep.
Just gonna say that. And
The
we're
app's not going anywhere. Trump's
No,
going
no.
to swoop in and save it. It's an obvious form of manipulation.
yeah, and mostly just to piss off his daddy, Elon Musk.
Yup.
Yep. Yep. His daddy, wife, Elon Musk.
Yeah, President Musk, I mean Trump, is definitely going to be very happy about this.
Nightmare.
Yeah, so
I hate
yeah, I do feel like we should probably just start the show with this before going into homework, just because it is so timely and it's
Okay.
on top of mind. I mean, we're literally recording on the 18th. The app goes away literally tomorrow. My understanding is
Yep.
that they're pulling
Show
the plug.
hole at 11:30.
My
Oh,
understanding is that the plug's being pulled, and so like you'll still have access to it in the United States, but it will begin to flatline, much like when you had to put down your grandma.
Oh.
What I've heard from people who work at TikTok is that they are actually shutting the app down entirely, and you will not be able to access it at all starting at midnight.
Yeah, I've heard that they're basically going to cease operations in the U.S., so that makes sense. But regardless, the app is going away in the U.S., and there's a lot of bullshit surrounding it, but a lot of really entertaining stuff surrounding it. Seth, I know that you've been very active on this topic, so I want to kind of start with you.
I have been, and I really thought that the last video I was going to go viral for was me talking about the migration to Red Note and like the Chinese netizens and the American netizens coming together to share culture. That video got 120,000 views, and then last night I put up a video asking people to show hole on the last day of TikTok, and that has almost 500,000 views. So this is my legacy, and I wouldn't have it any other
It
way.
feels right. It really feels right.
It really does, doesn't it?
And if you want to send him tasteful nudes, send them to his Gmail account, gmail.com.
Do not give that email out. I still use that for a lot of
Oh, no.
things. Please do not give that
I was
out.
actually hoping that wasn't a real email when I
Oh,
said
no.
it. I will bleep that in the
It's a
official
real
episode.
email.
Okay, I will bleep that in the.
Please do.
I am going to
Please do,
bleep that.
yeah, I
in the
use
actual
that for.
episode.
That's the email that's connected to my TikTok account and my
I did-
Instagram. Please
I
don't
did say
use that.
taste. I did say tasteful nudes. I didn't say like your raunchy ones. Let's be fair.
Yeah. Only tasteful.
But yeah, so it was interesting to start the year. I put out a video giving my 2025 predictions, and one of like my easy early ones that I gave was literally like the TikTok ban gets upheld, and I specifically said that none of the legacy platforms are going to successfully, fill the void. Something else will.
Mhm.
If you had told me that void was going to be filled by the actual Chinese version of TikTok, I would have been very shocked. But I guess that's what's happening as of right now. I'm still like kind of holding out on like whether or not that's more of like a protest / meme type of thing of like it actually being the thing that takes over. But it validates what I said. It's just like, yeah, nobody's going over to Meta, nobody's going over to YouTube to like replace TikTok at this
No.
point. So,
And I've been very vocal about the fact that I view this as a protest. I am on
Yeah.
Little Red Book or Zhou For me, it is a protest. My intention is not to stay there. My intention is just to send a message.
Yeah.
and I feel like as far as being a protest, it's being very effective because one, it establishes the thing where it's just specifically telling the United States government, like, we don't care about your geopolitical bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
We know
Yeah,
that
we don't care about.
we know apps are gathering our data. We know that it's being disseminated. We know it's being sold to the highest bidder. The difference between Facebook and Google selling that to you guys versus TikTok having it be sent to the Chinese Communist Party, to us, it makes no fucking difference.
Mm-hmm.
We know that's how that works.
You know, so we most of us were raised in a post Patriot Act America where we were told if you give up a little bit of your privacy, you can have freedom. And so what the fuck do I care about my data? You're already stealing it. You're already selling it to foreign nations. This is a bold-faced lie that you are telling the American people just so you can justify in your own means.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And that's the thing that's specifically the thing that we're all pissed off about. Is like, this isn't about the fact that it's our data. That's inherently ingenuous. It's not about our data. Yeah. It's about the fact that it's our data that you don't get access to and that this other foreign power gets access to. And sure, it's adversarial to you.
Mm-hmm.
For us, it doesn't matter. We don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is all basically just political posturing that does not affect us at the end of the day.
Well, I think it's frustrating too because, like, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen, like, and it's always fucking white women because it's always white women, like, coming on and be like, guys, it's just an app for silly cat videos. Like, don't be that mad about it. It's like, no, this is so much fucking bigger than that. Like, me personally, like, I learned how to do my taxes for free last year because of TikTok. I learned, like, different recipes. I learned, honestly, financial education. Like, I paid off most of my credit card debt last year because of information I got on TikTok. It was the only way I got good information about Palestine, relevant information about Palestine, and ways to organize, like, and that's what they're scared of. That's the fucking problem, that we're being further radicalized, which I think they're not even realizing that we're already fucking there. Like, Ahmaud Arbery is the thing that fucking radicalized me in 2020. We've been fucking radicalized. Yeah. This is just giving us the means to do so, and that's what they're fucking scared of.
I would argue that the United States government
said that exact thing.
Yeah, I would argue the United States government radicalized us against the United States government long before China ever got there. Sorry.
I was radicalized when my family lost our home when I was a teenager because my dad got sick and we couldn't afford the medical bills. Like, it has nothing to do with TikTok.
Right. Mm-hmm.
No, absolutely not. But yeah, kind of going into kind of the stuff that's been going on with Red Book, which basically is, again, it's the Chinese government like approved version of TikTok that people have been able to download in protest. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of representation of the app as it goes on, because if you're going to ban TikTok, why would you let that stand? Regardless.
Oh, yeah.
It's been really funny just like watching people interact in a way where basically their entire worldview changes just because they have the opportunity to interact with people who aren't like them.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it has been. I've had conversations with Chinese netizens where I've been asked, like, Bo, get down. I've been asked, like, are these things true about America? Is it true that you have to pay for an ambulance? Is it true that you have to work 2 jobs to be able to afford rent? And when I tell them yes, their response is like, I thought that was propaganda. I thought that was my government lying to me. And I'm like, no, they were telling you the truth.
Yeah. And like the thing is like I'm not gonna sit here and like say like the Chinese government is amazing and perfect. Like they also engage in censorship.
No.
They've also engaged in horrible things. Like I'm not about to say that, but at the same time, it's amazing how much sometimes the truth about like your society and your culture ends up being as awful as it like sounds. And like we don't have to, like it's that whole like truth is stranger than fiction. Sometimes like just by telling people the truth about a country like makes me like, oh my god, that's ridiculous. Like, well, that's just true if you look at it. And so obviously there's still a lot of things that can still happen politically, but more or less we're in kind of just the stage where it's just like I'm not shocked, but I am disappointed.
Yes. Always disappointed. Forever fucking disappointed.
But
Forever.
in regards of what I'm doing going forward, I mean, I didn't really even post on Instagram or Meta or Twitter anymore anyway, so like saying I'm going to black those platforms out means nothing. Because I wasn't really engaging on those platforms to begin with. But for the most part, YouTube's going to be my wheelhouse. I know YouTube's not innocent in any of this. But, like, it's just, like, in terms of, like, being a content creator and finding a platform, I feel like most of the eggs are going to go into that basket in the short term until things kind of level out. But yeah, just like I don't see anybody moving over to Reels because Reels is garbage.
The fucking worst.
It's
YouTube
terrible.
Yeah, YouTube Shorts is not great either, but I feel like the problem with Shorts is the fact that YouTube is such a long form content platform, and so many people use Shorts to promote their long form content that it doesn't really work for short form content.
No.
And until they kind of get that shit figured out. And that was actually part of my second predictions for my channel, is just like YouTube has to start like kind of thinking more about short-term form content again if they want that to work. And yeah, it's just where we're at. And just so you know, if Trump does swoop in and save TikTok for whatever reason, it's all self-serving and not because he is so great. He is literally just trying to look like the good guy. He did the same thing during COVID. He's done the same thing when he pulled out of Iraq. It's just like he wants the brownie points.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I've seen a lot of people comparing it to the hostage situation when Reagan took over presidency, where he 100%. Went behind Carter's back and was able to get the hostages freed once he came into office.
Yep.
And it's just an attempt to make him look better and win over people who are very disappointed with the Democratic Party after the last election.
Yeah, it's all political point scoring. It's not like because they care. But that shouldn't be new. Corporations aren't your friends. Politicians aren't your friends. I was gonna have my sledgehammer and sickle out the entire episode, but just like budgetary constraints.
Couldn't find a sickle in this day and age. Too expensive.
Oh, I absolutely could. Don't
in this academy?
I absolutely could. All right. Well, now that we're done talking about the dystopian hellscape that we live in, we can move into our homework assignment, which was assigned by Seth, which was The Fifth Element, a sci-fi film from 1997, and a very interesting case study, I think, on multiple levels.
Yeah. This is my second favorite movie of all time. It was my favorite movie up until rediscovering RoboCop.
I was about to say the number one was RoboCop.
Yep. I adore this film. As a musician, the soundtrack changed my life, and like I have it on CD still. It's in the car, so I don't have it here. But yeah, I love the music in this movie. I love everything about this movie, except for one thing that we will get into, I'm sure. But I'm interested to hear what both of you think.
Aaron, have you seen this before?
This is like my So this was, I think this might have been a movie club movie actually back in the day at one point, and I think that was like my first full.
Was it?
I think like early movie club.
Yeah, it might have been before my time.
Oh, so
Yeah.
before I joined.
Yeah, but like, so I remember this was like a movie that I've only ever seen in bits and pieces because it was either on TV or my stepdad was watching it or something like that. But I never like sat down and watched the full movie until like maybe about like 10, 15 years ago. Which,
Okay.
the fact that like I've seen a movie multiple times and then 15 years ago was my first full viewing of it tells you how old this movie is.
Right.
It's so weird because like I had this thought like literally the night after I watched it because I watched this on Thursday, so I've had a little bit of time to kind of stew on it. It's weird how this movie kind of reminds me of our viewing of Blade Runner and how like influential for its space it is and like some of the specific elements that it uses. The difference is that this is a much more like campy B-movie style of a sci-fi film, and so therefore it's more fun. You like enjoy kind of the ride that you're on, but then you also stop and go, it's just like, man, for like a movie that has every right to just be like this weird, obscure B sci-fi movie, like they have Bruce Willis, who is a big name at this time. They have Gary Oldman, who is like a respected actor at this time. Like, you know, Chris Tucker is, you know, coming off of Friday, I believe, at this point. And so, like, it's not like he's, like, an unknown either. It's just, like, the fact that they got so many people and stuff on board for this, for what might actually be one of the more campy sci-fi movies I've seen in a long time, is pretty incredible.
Yeah. Bree, what did you think?
I will say, unfortunately, I did not like it. I feel like watching it, like, because very similar. I think I've seen
not like it.
Did not like it. I want to give a couple of things of context for this.
Bree hates sci-fi.
It's not my favorite thing. It took me a while to get there for sure, but I did watch this on Philo because it was free, and that streaming service fucking blows. So I had to watch it in 3 fucking parts because for whatever reason, like the couple times I went to sit down, it kept like reverting back to the wherever I started watching it. So which was so
you had like my like original viewing experience where it's like you caught it on TV and there's like commercial breaks all throughout.
Correct. Yeah, so there's also ad breaks, but then for whatever reason, like I was watching it last night because I was hoping to finish it last night. But it just like it kept zipping back to like where I started. I was like, I'm too tired. I'm not dealing with this right now, which is so annoying because I had 20 minutes left in the movie. It was literally right where she starts singing and like all the action starts happening. I was like, I would like to watch this right now, but I'm not gonna fucking go back again. So that was kind of a bad experience. Yeah, I think it's super fun, super campy. I think it'd be nice if I watched it like in total. That'd be excellent. I literally had 2 notes on it. One was correct. You should not have kissed her. That was super weird. And 2...
That's a note I have too.
I know he's like, oh man, I should not have kissed her. I was like, no, dude, that came out of fucking nowhere. What a weird fucking thing for you to do. Which has been very
you
Blade
kissed
Runner,
an
though.
Unconscious woman.
Yes.
Facts.
Very Bruce Willis move.
Yes. It was just like, yeah. And again, maybe that was just like romance at the time. I'm just like, because again, they didn't really have any chemistry. They saw each other like 3 times. And it's like, I'm in love with you. I was like, why though?
Again, going back to my Blade Runner comparison, it's just exactly. Like you have like one of the biggest like action stars in the world, and somehow you made him the least charismatic he's ever been.
Absolutely. So there's that, which I'm like, I feel like I can like kind of dive into the campiness of that, be like, okay, this was just very of the time. They didn't have time to build up romance. There was like always a romance requirement in all of these movies, so it's like whatever, that's fine. And the other note I had was that when the bad guy was bleeding from his head, it looked like barbecue sauce, and I was like, he looked very traumatized. I was like, well, yeah, I suppose barbecue sauce should not be on your head. That is traumatizing. It was too brown and too thick.
It was. As a kid, I thought it was chocolate.
Fair.
I was like, why? I asked my parents, I'm like, why is chocolate leading out of his head? And they're like, oh, it's supposed to be blood. And I'm like, it doesn't look like blood. And they're like, you're right. You're right.
Movie magic, kids. Movie magic.
Yes.
Yep.
But that was fun. I honestly, again, watching this, I feel like I immediately recognized, I'm like, I get why people love this movie. Like, I get why this would be like a yearly watching, every 6 months watching. And I feel like, I don't know if that would be it for me, but I get it. I think it's super fun. So that's really, I don't have much to say outside of that, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it was funny watching it now where I feel like, especially where I'm at right now, like I'm thinking from such a like production sensibility side of things. I went the entire movie and was just like, wait, we're already like an hour into this movie and you're just now introducing the villain to me.
Yes.
Like the first like half of the movie is so like kind of like we have to get through all of this exposition, and then we're basically like only have like the last like 45 minutes of the movie to like introduce like any action and development.
Zorg is an incredible villain, though. He's one of my favorite Gary Oldman roles.
And like in fairness, like I don't know who else could have.
Of him.
I don't know if anybody could have done that role other than Gary Oldman, honestly.
Oh, absolutely. That's really dusty. I need to clean that. Sorry.
Dusty vinyl pops.
But, yeah. It's what they all are nowadays.
That's where you can send your tasteful nudes. DustyVinylPops@gmail.com.
That's the real email address.
That's the real email. But yeah, I don't know. I do really love Gary Oldman. It's probably my favorite performance of his. Especially the scene where he's like showing the new gun, the scene where he like opens the case and he's laughing and then he starts crying and says, "I'm screwed." It's so good. His performance is so good.
Yeah. And like that goes back to my thing about like, you know, the actors that they had for this film versus like how incredibly B movie camp it is. It's this like this feels like a kind of role that you would take specifically just like this just seems like a fun project to be part of.
Yeah.
Because at this point of Gary Oldman's career, he could have taken any acting gig. Bruce Willis literally could get any acting gig at this point of his career. There was something about specifically this project that was just like, this sounds like a good time, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, just fun.
And we don't get a lot of that anymore.
We really don't. And this is the kind of movie that like a studio wouldn't probably roll the dice on it. It's not a for sure thing. It's not an already existing IP. I don't think this kind of movie would be made today because of those things.
Yeah, the closest thing I could think of, and we talked about it like months and months ago, but it was the Ungentlemanly Warfare with Henry Cavill and Guy Ritchie.
Oh yeah.
That was the last film I saw where basically it felt like everybody was just having a good time being there.
Okay. I still haven't seen that, but
I recommend it. It's definitely a good watch. You talked about how like you know a little bit more about kind of like the story behind it, but it is a fun watch. I wouldn't necessarily call it a masterpiece of a film.
Okay.
But like you could see like Henry Cavill and like Alan Richardson are having like a blast playing the roles that they're playing. You could tell Guy Ritchie was having a fun time directing and everything else, and everybody was just kind of like on board from the start. But like, you know, is this thing going to win an Oscar? Absolutely not. Is it something that I think fans are going to really enjoy? Absolutely.
All right. There is one aspect of this movie. I watched a video. I sent it to both of you, and it has ruined a part of this movie as well as most sci-fi for me. And it is the trope of Born Sexy Yesterday. And that trope is where a female character is an adult with a lot of like physical strength, things that are typically associated with like strong male characters, but mentally they are a child. And just how like fucked up that is, that like it's this fantasy for a lot of men in Hollywood to be like, yeah, I'm the big macho man. She fights too, but she's also a child, and I have to show her the world and teach her love and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Also, I'm gonna
how
have sex with her
gross
later.
that
That's
is.
not weird.
They did this in Hot Frosty
Yeah,
too,
no,
also,
it's
so it was well.
Hot Frosty reference of 2025. Let's go.
Woo!
Still kicking, friends.
But yeah, the video that I linked both of you, I watched a few years ago, and I cannot watch this movie without remembering that trope. And it has ruined a lot of sci-fi for me, and a lot of just film in general.
Yeah. I watched the video probably about like half an hour before we got onto the pre-show, and it was funny because I watched the video. I was just like, okay, yeah, like this is what I clocked when I was like doing my recent viewing. It's just like, oh, okay, they're doing this kind of trope, and like I dismissed it as like, oh, this is how Mila Djokovic has been typecasted because she kind of does the same thing as Alice in the Resident Evil series, which she's most known for at this point.
Yeah, especially in the first two. That's a really good take. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like I kind of dismissed it, but like watching this is just like, oh yeah, this is like a common fictional sci-fi trope. And like, yes, it does come from a very misogynistic, place and stuff where like I think Hollywood screenwriters sometimes aren't aware that they're being misogynistic and like tropey with some of this stuff sometimes because it's Hollywood. Let's be fair, that they're not as original as they think they are, as much as they'd like to pretend they are.
What do you mean my script is infantilization? I don't see that anywhere in here.
But no, it did. The video did a very good job of like making me aware of the trope, and there's tropes everywhere in Hollywood. Like, tropes aren't inherently bad; they're shorthand essentially, and like sometimes they help basically writers have like a starting point or a motivation. It's hard not to write a trope into anything if you're trying to, especially in fiction.
I would argue though this trope is inherently bad.
Oh yeah, no,
like
it is. I agree.
Okay, good.
I'm not defending this trope. I'm saying tropes in general are inherent. Tropes are not inherently bad. This trope is bad.
Correct. Yes.
Let's get that out of the way. And like specifically in the video where they identify it's not dissimilar to the Manic Pixie Dream Girl trope.
Yeah.
It's even a riff off of it, and it is inherently kind of that thing. It was just like the only way that you know how to write women is to somehow make them a motivation for a male character as opposed to giving them any kind of agency in the story.
I mean, as a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, and I'm just kidding.
As the Ramona Flowers of the podcast with her freshly dyed blue hair.
I had men tell me that like as a compliment. They're like, yeah, you're like a Manic Pixie Dream Girl. I was like, that's not a compliment.
That's not a compliment.
Yeah, it's really not.
Either of us, really. For both of us, this is a bad thing. So
it's like, this is a bad take, and
you're
you should
saying
feel bad.
That is not good. And
but yeah, no, like it's just like it. But again, like I appreciated the video that you sent, Seth, because again, it's one of those things where I think the best thing you can do from a media literacy standpoint is to identify these tropes, deconstruct them, why they exist, and then again judge them on that deconstruction, because a trope can be coming from a chauvinistic, misogynistic place like this trope does, or it could literally come from a place that's like, I have to find a way to give a character a motivation to be in my story. And again, tropes can be fine, but they have to come from a place of, like, the problem with fiction versus reality is that fiction has to make sense.
100%. I will say... You good?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Okay, good.
But like that's just true. Like, unfortunately, fiction has to make sense, because otherwise people, why would this character do this when they could have just done X, Y, and Z? Whereas like in reality, is like people do dumb shit all the time. I don't know why the fuck Seth decided that was a good idea.
What did I do?
Well, you started the email address, the dustyfunkopop at gmail.com to send your tasteful nudes. I don't know why Seth did that.
You can also find me at anime statues in a mason jar at Gmail.
You have so many emails.
I do. It's all for it's.
Remember, kids, make sure
you
your
don't wanna
VPN is
know.
on and it's on Safe Search.
Yes, always. I do want to mention like
There's
No, go ahead. Please.
no, you please go ahead. I was about to go on a
Please.
tangent. You go ahead.
I just want to mention, not that this excuses this by any means, but like I will say, I feel like they didn't write women well until like kind of recently, to be honest. Like this was very much writing of the
Yeah.
time. Like I feel
Yeah.
like because we're especially in the 90s, I feel like we were turning towards the like I don't know, kind of like the thing I'm thinking of was like Barbed Wire, like the Pamela Anderson film, where it's just like, don't call me doll, where we got to like that turn of feminism, where we're like, okay, no, this is also not quite right. Like you turn the dial way the other way, and I feel
Yeah.
like this movie was still the other way. Like we're adjusting.
It's the
'cause-
pendulum swing that goes back and forth constantly.
Correct, exactly. And I'm just like, I feel like, and this might be a shock to some people, some writers, women are people. So write them like
What?
people.
No.
What?
I know.
Wait, Seth.
Women
Seth,
are objects to be fridged so that my male characters can
Wait,
have
Seth-
development.
Seth, I thought we invited Brie onto the show because we agreed that like she's not a human, right? Like that's the entire appeal.
Really, I'm the
Yeah, that was
hire.
the whole original.
Oh God.
We couldn't
I
find any
go-
person of color, so we,
I-
we
like,
grabbed
I was-
you.
We don't know.
I-
any.
I was just you told me that I could respect her opinion on this show. Why did you tell me I couldn't?
Good job, team.
This is my favorite episode so far.
I think we're doing really, really well.
Best episode of 2025.
Yeah, easily. Knocking it out of the park.
It's all downhill from here, people.
I did
Oh,
mention
absolutely.
as well that and I mentioned this channel before, but Overly Sarcastic Productions, they have a whole series called Trope Talks, and they deal with a lot of different things like this. So if anyone's interested about diving more into that, she talks about like why they exist, how long they've existed, examples of them, and how to do them well. So she's not covered this specific topic yet, but she has like talked about a bunch of different things. So these things have existed for forever,
Yeah.
and they can be done
Absolutely.
well.
Yeah, no, going back to the thing
They
that I said,
can
was just
be.
like tropes are not inherently bad. This is just a bad one.
Correct. Mhm.
I
Yeah.
would love to
Yes.
see a take on this trope that like tries to like do that, like flip it on its head, or like maybe like has some kind of twist, or at least like have like a moment where basically, you know, that Born Sexy Yesterday turns from is just like, oh, I get it now, or like have that switch flipped. I think that could be an interesting way to approach it.
I
Yeah.
like hot people. I get that. So
Yeah. Hot people are great.
hot people
Thumbs
are
up
hot.
for hot people.
Hot
heard it
people
here.
are the best.
Except when they're not.
Official stance of the show.
You heard it here first.
Except when they're not.
Except when they're not.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been through a few of those. We're not here to talk about my dating life.
Why
Here we are.
not?
Or are we? I can open, let's.
I was about to
All
say,
right.
let's go for Seth's
let me-
TikToks from the last 2 weeks real quick, because there is some stuff that's come up.
Oh, you saw that video?
Oh, I saw that video. Problem is, I know the
Shelby, if
people who
you're
are
out
involved
there,
in it, so that's why I
hearts.
didn't say shit.
You know one of the people who's involved in it.
I know 1.5. Let's be fair.
One and a half. Yeah, hey, just because I'm short doesn't mean I count for half a person. All right.
That's what you amount to in my mind, Seth.
Oh.
There's three. There's three
That checks
people on
out,
this
actually.
There's 3 people on this podcast. Me, Bree, 3 of the cats, and you.
Whoever's on the bed at the time.
Yeah. Whichever cat's there.
Okay. So, anyways, so Seth's getting a producer credit for this show because he was in a specific headspace this week.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. I was
the
in a
next-
content mindset.
You were, and I was enjoying it. I was reaping the benefits. Let's be fair. You were doing the whole wedding singer bit of "Somebody kill me, please," and I was just like in the corner, just like he's losing his mind, and I'm reaping all the benefits. But you did post an interesting video, specifically talking about a previous subject matter we've had on the show, Bo Burnham. You probably might have even saw the same clip that inspired this, because it was specifically Bo talking about like how online content was kind of trash and never amounted to what he wanted it to be. Like I saw that exact same video before you posted your video, so like I was like, okay, he probably saw the same thing I did.
Yeah, that was the exact video that prompted that TikTok.
Yeah, but the main catalyst of it was that in the video, and this was pre-Inside easily, and you could tell by the facial hair. He was specifically kind of just talking about how like YouTube had like all this stuff going for it at the time, but like 99.9% of the content is garbage, and like it was never going to be like this huge thing for like independent filmmakers anymore. And Seth had a take on it, and I more or less agreed with the take, but maybe disagreed with where some of the energy was going.
That's fair.
Yeah,
it's totally fair. You can be wrong. You can be wrong every day of the week, as long as it serves you.
Here's the thing. I don't think you were wrong, and I specifically said in my comment towards you, I said just like he is absolutely get off my lawn, bah humbug about the entire thing, and like had like the wrong energy take of it. However, I blame more of the platforms for where they're at than like necessarily Bo not bringing them up with him.
That's not unfair.
Yeah.
That's I get that. My issue really stemmed from the fact that he came from YouTube.
Yeah.
And he could have said there is good stuff there, and he could have mentioned names, and he could have elevated people during a time between 2012 and 2010 and 2013, when YouTube was really popping off, to legitimize it.
Yeah.
But because he and also it's not solely his fault. I completely admit that. It's just that
the attitude was
the platform that he had. Exactly. And it really bothers me that you have channels today like Defunctland, who make, yes, niche documentaries, but the quality and the research that goes into those documentaries is better than anything I've seen on Netflix and Netflix documentaries in years. But they will never be taken seriously because they are a YouTuber. Right. And I think Bo could have used his platform to change that mindset.
Yeah.
And that was the point I was trying to make with that video.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with that 100%. The thing that I was frustrated with, and like this is probably where the stuff with Bo goes, is this like Bo was early to the game in terms of like the YouTube growth thing, and so like by the time like YouTube was like starting to like grow a little bit more, he was already on to doing like the Netflix specials and everything else, and like have a certain attitude about it. And the reality of those platforms, YouTube, Instagram, like any online platform, is that you have a lot of people, like you constantly have this churn of new people who have no idea what they're doing. So yes, a lot of the content on those platforms are going to be trash, and there's going to be a lot of trash content that's going to be there. But the people who do churn to the top legitimately are there. And the thing that like I thought of before specifically starting is just like, you have to remember a lot of these people are starting from nothing and building up as they go, whereas folks where I think Bo was thinking of his own career and where he was at, those are people who already are like up here in like the Hollywood sphere and like have those resources monetarily and production wise, and they were never going to come down to YouTube. And that's where I feel like that's where the dynamic splits. And I agree with you, because I watch more YouTube content than I watch like Hollywood content on this point. There's amazing creators on YouTube who do amazing stuff. The problem is a lot of them are also now currently dealing with the landscape that we're in with shitty algorithmic, like they have to play the metagame to be successful.
Yeah. I agree. But you have to remember the state of YouTube at the time that Bo was pulling away from it. We had Grace Helbig. We had My Drunk Kitchen. We had Epic Mealtime. All of those, which I think Grace Helbig was My Drunk Kitchen.
No, that was,
they were offered.
Shit, I don't remember her name, but different people. But they collaborated frequently.
Oh, okay. They did collaborate frequently. Jenna Marbles. These are people who had shots at mainstream careers. Epic Mealtime was offered a show. Philip DeFranco hosted Shark Week.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there was a moment where this could have broken through, and the stuff at the top could have pushed through and legitimized the platform. And Bo actively worked to keep those creators down. Yeah. And that's my issue with him.
Yeah. Again, I think that's fair. I also think that some of those opportunities were poisoned waters more than anything else, especially like the Shark Week stuff. I know a lot more about the Discovery side of things for wink
That's
reasons.
True, you do, yeah.
Yeah. But
that's fair.
For wink wink. But regardless, like, there's a lot of people who got their start on YouTube, especially in those early days, who started pushing toward like more legitimate things, and what they found was that those things in like the traditional media side did not work for how they did things. And so
I do agree with that. You look at a channel like 5 Second Films that had a substantial following at the time, and then when they made Do Bro Party Massacre 3, they had a very difficult time breaking through and still haven't.
Yeah. And 5 Second Films actually, I think, was one of the biggest casualties of YouTube's strategy of prioritizing longer form content over short form content. That was, again, that goes back to that kind of point. Like, I believe in the online media space inherently. I think the problem with it is the fact, because it is so open, like, there is going to be a lot of people who start up on it, don't know what they're doing, they get chewed up and spit out. All three of us were a part of that space of people who tried making content online and got chewed up and spit out by it, let's be fair.
Mm-hmm.
And, rising above that's very hard. But I think there is still space to kind of maneuver and kind of move past, because I do think the dinosaurs are dying. You look at what they're dealing with now with like streaming with things like Netflix and Amazon Prime and stuff. Like, they're having a hard time sustaining that model. The theater going experience is dying. The broadcast television is practically dead. So we're in this new paradigm, but it's one of those things like we have to see through that transition, as opposed to just basically just like sitting here and just waiting for all of it to happen. Like, we have to push through and figure out how is this going to look going forward. And I would prefer creators being more in charge of that than studio executives who have just a shit ton of money to throw at a problem.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. I completely agree with that.
Yeah. But like, I agree with you that like Bob could have been less of a dick about it, but I don't think he's at fault for the situation.
That's kind of where I'm at on this. He had the opportunity to elevate this and he chose not to. It's just like, I feel like, because I think part of it too is that like, I don't think he's necessarily as big of a household name. Like, I feel like if I asked the average person who Bo Burnham was, they would not know. Because I will say, I think the three of us are a little more on the
if you ask somebody over the age of 38 who Bo Burnham is, they probably don't know who he is.
100%, yeah.
My parents know who Bo Burnham is. However, they are fans of stand-up comedy. So they may be an outlier to that rule.
They think Eddie Murphy should redo Raw, as is.
No, my dad's racist. He doesn't like Eddie Murphy.
No.
That's a joke. I'm joking. My dad is racist, but he does like Eddie Murphy.
But he's old racist. He just doesn't know any better.
I was concerned.
Yeah. He's a Christian.
Oh boy.
Boy, I really halted that conversation to a stop, didn't I?
Anyways, moving on to other subjects. Mark Zuckerberg can choke on a dick and die. Anyways, any other thoughts on that subject?
Facebook fucking sucks. Facebook's also responsible for internet content going away and not being respected because they inflated views. They're the reason why so many channels on YouTube shut down in 2017, 2018.
They killed College Humor back in the day. That was a big one.
They killed Cracked.
They killed Cracked. That's true. Yeah. No, Facebook's always been shit.
Cracked is back, and Michael Swaim is back working there, and I'm like, okay, I thought you were at IGN, dude.
If anybody wants to watch
something I'm
100%. I have no fucking
Yeah.
idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, that went over my head. But if you want to watch Brendan Lee Mulligan complain about capitalism, go ahead and subscribe to Dropout.
We love him.
Not a sponsor, but if you want to pay us, hit us up at dustyfunkopop@gmail.com.
I'm gonna have to make that email now, aren't I?
The fact that you haven't yet makes me very disappointed in you as my employee. So
How dare you?
We are recording right now. I will get to it. I'm not gonna take time away from the show.
Of course.
Multitasking. That's what we want in capitalist society. We want you to do everything all at once.
Mm-hmm. The number go up.
Oh, but I can't.
But no, the one thing I have
line, we're gonna fire 5% of our employees to offset our user base dropping.
All right, so we're getting rid of Dante then, right? No more Dante.
No,
on the
Bo
show.
can go. Bo
is 20% of our show.
There we go. He is. He's so needy.
Yeah, that's what they do.
He's so cute, though.
Welcome back to Internet Friends now with 5% less butthole from Breeze Cats.
He tried to show butthole earlier, and I was like, you can't. Well, actually, tonight he will. So.
He did.
She's going to post the TikTok before the band
it.
goes through specifically to show hole.
Oh, see, he heard. He said, hole.
Yeah, he's up. There it is.
Yeah.
There we go.
We got
job, baby.
Whoop, whoop.
We got it.
That's my boy. Good job.
I am going to have to post a video telling people to not show hole based off of how many people have been liking and commenting my video.
Oh, I saw your
gonna have
video
to be
this
like-
morning, and I went to the comments. I was like, "That's a lot of comments for a Seth video," and everybody was just like, "Where's
Right?
hole?" I was just like,
Where's hole?
"Oh, okay."
No. I posted a couple videos after that, and the comments on those videos are exclusively, "Hey, you said you were going to show hole. Where's hole? Come on, where's hole?"
I came here for hole, please. Thank you.
Yep.
That's amazing.
I got like 1,000 followers who are hoping
Here's what
me to
you
show
do.
hole, and at this.
Here's what you do. You pull a YouTube and you just start posting clips from the Disney movie adaptation of Holes.
Oh,
You just start showing like
go.
those clips.
See, what I was going to do was I was going to do what live streamers on TikTok do, where they're like, "Oh, you give me rewards, I'll show Nip." And then all of a sudden the stream ends right after I get the reward. And then I'm back.
whoop.
I don't know what happened to my phone. But, we're going to have to keep this goal going. I'm sorry, you missed it. I showed. It's TikTok's fault.
Makes sense.
This is a side of TikTok neither of you are on, isn't it?
No. I feel like
Every-
this is happening
every
on
ti-
Twitch, though. Like, it's a similar meta. So.
Oh yeah, go to just
yeah.
chatting on Switch and see how many like hot tub streams are going at a given time. I'm just like, it's like, look, I realize you're trying to sell your OnlyFans to me, but like, I'll go to your OnlyFans if I want to see this.
Absolutely.
Hot tub stream.
You're like, hold on, quick research break.
It's basically what
Here's
ChatterBait
science.
was 10 years ago. That's all you're missing out on, Seth.
This is an off-air conversation, but England, were you over there when a friend of ours would get on Chatterbait while she was in a hangout with us?
Yes. That was chat
Okay.
roulette, but yes,
Alright.
I was there.
It was chat roulette. Bree, were you there for any of that?
She was
don't
not.
know.
I
don't
hope
think
not.
So.
You would
weren't
remember.
really an MC squared, were you?
No, I don't think so.
You were more like an earlier in the night person.
I believe
Yeah,
it
well,
was,
100%. Yeah.
I believe it was you, Seth, me, one of our Australian friends, one of our Floridian friends.
Who was the Floridian? Oh, yeah, I remember him.
Yeah,
Sorry.
okay. And then another Midwest friend that was not Bree. I'm being very careful not to use names right here.
Smart move.
Yeah. Floridian. Remember when Floridian was doing daily posts on YouTube,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they would schedule them like
Fun
way
fact.
beforehand.
Fun fact, I guess at one point we did one of our group hangouts live on Google Hangouts, but it was done
Yeah.
live on my profile, so my YouTube channel has a full live recorded Google Hangout on it.
Oh, wow.
It's currently privated, so you can't see it,
Wow.
but it's
That's
still
pretty cool.
there. I'm
Let me
like
see, 'cause
very,
I used.
I'm very afraid to watch that. Because
I would be too.
because we were the dumbest, like young, like late teens, like early
That was so
20s
fucking long ago.
motherfuckers. that
It was
existed.
forever ago. It's wild. I was going to look because I had Floridian recorded one of our hangouts and put it on YouTube.
Mhm,
And I
remember
had
that.
it saved for the longest time, but it looks like it's gone now.
Yeah, there's some stuff that's kind of gone, but there's definitely a few things from like the old YouTube days that I came across recently where I was doing some channel maintenance. And yeah.
Oh my god. I'm looking back through my favorites and I just found the LTA Cypher.
Oh
Oh,
god.
I'm so glad I never did.
I have one of those, and that's
I'm so
definitely not
grateful.
that video's never hitting unprivated. You'll have to shoot me.
I did I did two of them. We've
Yours
talked about
were
this
good.
before, but I thank you. The first one was not, when I actually tried to rap, was not good.
Yeah, no, I wasn't referring to the rap one. I was referring to one that you decided to do a guitar riff to.
Yeah. I cannot remember what I was about to say. It doesn't matter. We're reminiscing about shit from fucking 14 years ago.
Oh my fucking god.
Whatever.
Nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
You guys were young
It
too. I
is.
was at least in my 20s.
I was
So were
about
you
to
early
say, I
20s?
was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
some of these things I was like 19.
I was 19.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my brain didn't turn on until I was like 26. So I was like, I'm so mad that I recorded anything when I was in my 20s. Because I was like, I was a fucking asshat. I don't know
Again,
why I did that.
Again, I appreciate the fact that those videos exist because it's a weird nostalgia thing, but I'm just like, upon my death, like, go to YouTube's like data center and burn whatever server those files are on.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
Do not let
that's
those
what
see
I
the
was gonna say.
day.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. I mentioned this a little while ago, but I went through and I watched a handful of my Decem vlogs from that time period.
Oh god, I
and
remember those.
shit was not good. Yeah, me and George, we were doing Decem vlogs as a parody of Vlogvember.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
No.
God.
what a
Bad,
different time.
bad content. Yeah.
But again, that goes
awful.
back to my point where it's just like most people who start out making content on the internet, it's like, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. I still don't know what the fuck
Yeah.
I'm doing. And people pay me to do this sometimes.
Yup.
I've got 10K followers on TikTok, and I've never for a second known what I was doing.
And anytime somebody does say that they know what they're doing, they're lying.
I
Yep.
think that's the key, though. just
Oh, yeah.
know enough to get by. That's fine.
Every creator like I've ever like truly liked or followed for like came from a space of like literally I just kind of started doing this and I blew up at one point and I made a career out of it.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of the way to do it, because if you come into it basically from a space of just like I'm gonna make it, it's just like you're already behind the 8-ball, bud.
Yeah.
And then if you're like already come in and successful right out the gate, it's because you cheated somehow.
You gotta suck first. You gotta suck for a while.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And you know
Absolutely.
what? And that's actually even part of the fun, because then people will eventually, like, when you do blow up and, like, actually do create a career out of it, people will go back to your early videos and be like, wow, holy shit.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
But that's
This
part
is
of the
bad.
fun and part of the experience. Like, everybody sucks at everything they ever do. And if they are good at it right away, they're going to burn out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I truly love about the internet, because in every other field, you look at like improv comedy, stage productions, music, there is this period of learning that is almost not seen by anybody. You're going to suck in front of an audience for a while, but it doesn't really matter. Whereas the internet, you can suck and get 1 million views. And like, I love that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because I suck and I want 1 million views. Give me views.
I think we all suck. Sad to be honest. I think we all do, which is okay. That's the human experience.
Oh, you have imposter syndrome too.
Absolutely, I do.
But like, But going back to like the entire like, you know, capitalism hellscape that we live in, like a lot of this shit is just right place, right time. Like,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
You just like happen to have the one thing that you did that went viral. A bunch of people watched it, and like maybe you found a way to capitalize on it, maybe you didn't. Like I've always kind of taken the approach of like I'm just kind of gonna do my own thing, and if it blows up, cool. If it doesn't, like at least I had a good time. That's kind of what the
ethos. Get better, so.
Like that's what the ethos of this podcast is. It's like I understand that like it's just like there's not really much of a listening or following to the show at this point, and if it ever blows up one day, it's just like at least I got to hang out with Seth and Bree for a couple of hours a day, and I am totally happy and content with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It turned out very wholesome. Good job, guys.
It did, yeah. No, it should be about fun first and success second.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, that's always what art should be.
100%.
All right. So, anyways, going back to the topic, Doc. One of the interesting things that Seth had posted, and it's actually something I wanted to talk about, Tales from the Backlog. So, what's on your guys' game libraries that you haven't played? Bree, I know yours is probably a hellhole.
Yes. I will say, because well, and I've mentioned this before, and unfortunately, and I think this is part of the neurodivergence and also just me being very busy in general, that like I will play a game non-fucking stop for like a week, 2 weeks straight, and then I will put it down for 5 seconds and never touch anything again for like 2 months. So it's just like I live in extremes. So honestly, it's like why I'm so grateful for this podcast and also Game Birds, because I'm getting to enjoy more media in general and video games. So I'm actually going to open up my Steam really quick and just take
That's literally what I just did. I might actually, my Steam front page might have actually showed up on people's feeds. I'm making sure there's nothing weird on it. Okay, we're good.
I do want to play Baldur's Gate a little bit more, though. I didn't even get past the first act, to be honest. I just like...
We'll have a conversation about that later.
Yes. Perfect. Looking at my wish list.
All right, so what's on everybody's what's in everybody's queue that they haven't gotten to?
Let me mute. There we go. I have The Witcher 3 is in my backlog that I haven't played yet.
That's a fun one. I played that one a few years ago, actually. That was actually my first COVID game, I think.
Oh.
That I
really?
played over COVID, yeah.
I know a lot of people love it, and that's why I picked it up. I also have Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. So there's that.
That is a thing.
I don't know why I have it, actually. And,
this is one of those things that Sony put on there.
Yeah. And Resident Evil 1, the
remake.
2015 re-release. Those are the yeah.
I've been meaning to play the remakes.
I have downloaded. Uh, 4 is okay. I've been enjoying it enough.
I'm surprised they made a remake of 4.
I'm not. Isn't it like one of the favorites?
It's one of the favorite. Well, I was surprised they made a remake specifically completely ground upping it. Like, obviously, the first 3 like ground up remakes made sense. 4 was like one where it's just like you could have done a remaster, just like take the original like GameCube, PlayStation era RE4 and just updated it, and it would have still held up.
I never played it back in the day, so this is my first experience with it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, in terms of like my Steam backlog, I have some, obvious picks. I have Doom in 2016 and Doom Eternal that I haven't really gotten around to playing. I have all of the Batman Arkham series. I played Arkham Asylum back in the days, but I never beat Arkham City. I haven't played Arkham Knight.
I'm an Arkham Knight apologist. If you can forgive the tank and the Batmobile, it's a pretty good game.
I believe that. And then you have Portal, obviously, I never got around to. There's a lot of stuff like 2011 to 2016, there's a huge hole in like my gaming history because I just didn't have a console or anything to play on it. So there's a lot of games that I still have to go back and play. But yeah, those are kind of the major parts of my backlog at this point.
I have so many, and I feel like some are going to be a little more obscure. I never finished West of Loathing, which West of Loathing was super, super fun, and also the Shadows over Loathing, although I think me and Alice are going to play that for Game Birds pretty soon. So I'm excited about that. I also never got back to the Final Fantasy VII remake, even though I was really, really enjoying that game.
That's been on my backlog list for a while. That's in my wish list right now.
Again, it was like not from lack of enjoy. I was really, really enjoying it. I think they updated it in a really good way. So I know some people are critical of it, but I think everything about it is improved. So I really, really like that. Horizon Zero Dawn also is one that I bought and just never fucking played.
That's in my Steam library and never played as well. I have a couple of Sony
I want to
titles.
get it, but
also finishing Mass Effect because I only got like halfway.
Yeah, you should definitely do Mass Effect. I'd be curious to be able to talk to you about it actually if you got through all the way, because I feel like you and me would have like a field day.
100%.
We could have a whole show without Seth, literally just talking about Mass Effect.
The Mass Effect episode. I will say the struggle with that is that I have all of them for my 360, but I very rarely bring my 360 out. So I'm kind of like, do I want to buy it again, or do I just want to like go through the ordeal of setting that up?
Yeah, you don't have Game Pass or anything like that, because every now and again Legendary Edition is like free on that. So you can maybe get away. I think actually Legendary Edition was on sale like during one of the last big Steam sales too. So I would keep an eye out for that.
Sorry, I'm going through my purchases and not my downloads. Evidently, at some point, I bought Metal Gear Solid 5, both of the Shadow of Mordor games, and like 3 Uncharted's. So
that's your backlog.
I don't remember buying them, but they're there.
That was drunk Seth. You know how drunk Seth be.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, regardless, we're all fake gamers. We're fake gamer boys and fake gamer girl.
It depends on the day. Sometimes I'm a real gamer, but usually not. So.
Yeah. But you're a girl, so therefore you're really a real gamer.
Then I'm a gamer, let me tell you.
When Alice wakes you up, it's like, we have to record a podcast.
It's funny you say that because we record very fucking early. We usually record around
8 you're up at like 4 a.m.
I am.
Yeah, you get up so early.
See, Seth, again, I know your guys' sleep schedule based on your guys' responses to me. Because again, Seth, I don't expect to hear to you until after 4 p.m. And then Brie, I know, basically she'll message me in the morning, and it's normally like I got the message at 6 a.m. So like,
Yeah, that's usually when I wake. Listen, I can't change that. That's unfortunately just the way my body works. So I would love to sleep in. I think I've slept in once till like 9, and I was like, wow, look at me. So late in the day.
Ooh, so late.
Yeah, that's okay. Be fun. Maybe I'll play those games someday, especially Baldur's Gate. I really want to get into that.
Again, we'll have a conversation about that later.
Yes.
So, this was the conversation we had in the pre-show, and I was kind of like, yeah, I could slot that into the topic doc. We had a conversation specifically about canceled artists that we still maybe sometimes have in our media rotation. I feel like music is typically what ends up kind of being in that rotation. I feel like movies and television might also be in there. There's some actors who have been canceled who maybe pop up in like a thing that you watch from time to time. It happens. But what's something that you've had a hard time like taking out of the rotation, despite knowing that the person who made it is a piece of shit?
I have a really big answer for this. Yeah, I'm gonna say mine is gonna be probably maybe the first. So please go.
Every Halloween, I still watch JonTron's "Are You Afraid of the Dark" and Goosebumps videos.
Here's the thing: I rewatch a lot of his videos, but I do it on a re-upload channel, so I make sure it's not on his channel. I make sure somebody else gets the credit for it, and I don't feel as bad. So.
Wait, does JonTron still make stuff?
That's smart.
Oh, maybe
he does. I think he was on an Internet Historian video recently, which made me really question whether or not I want to continue supporting that channel.
Oh, goodness. Oof. Yeah. He deleted a lot of his good videos, and so other people re-uploaded them. So, yeah, I just still watch those. Like, I rewatch his, I like a lot of his old videos, but again, not on his channel, so it's fine.
Yeah. He just uploaded an Animorphs the TV show video 7 days ago.
What
wow. That's recent for him.
Wow.
I'm on his channel right now.
Oh yeah. I mean, the only thing I was never a JonTron person, but like one of the podcasts I listened to, Geek Enders, is a spiritual successor to like the TGS and Co-optional podcast, and he was on that like way back in the day before like any of the cancelable stuff was ever coming to light. And some of that stuff went away because it was property of Maker, and so after the Disney acquisition and shutdown, like, you know, a lot of that stuff went away. And so there's channels that have like re-uploaded that stuff, and I've like it's come up in my feed, and I was just like, oh crap, I forgot JonTron was a thing.
Fair.
That's probably my biggest one. I mean, I still have a couple Red Hot Chili Peppers records in my iTunes.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I don't know anything about that, to be honest. What did they do?
Well,
they're all
evidently
very
the singer,
Anthony Kiedis is
Anthony Kiedis was in a relationship with a 17-year-old girl at some point when he was like in his 20s. Yeah, he pulled a Jerry Seinfeld for sure. Oh, Seinfeld! I still watch Seinfeld despite all the terrible shit.
I have never seen
Jerry.
Seinfeld, so I've never watched Seinfeld, so I have no emotional connection to that.
That's fair. It's fair. Oh, and Kramer. We can't forget about his stand-up special that he did.
I forgot about that.
I re-listened to that recently.
I was about to say, it wasn't Christian Divine, but it was somebody who like is like in that same sphere, was like talking about the Kramer rant.
It was Christian.
Oh, it was Christian. Okay,
because I thought because he put up that video the day after I went back and watched Kramer's thing, because I was like, I remember that being bad, but how bad was it? And I watched it, and it's fucking awful.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Yeah,
it's real bad.
And then, it's interesting thinking about that from the perspective of, like, this was before like the concept of like people with cell phone cameras was a thing.
This was right at the beginning of that. This was like 2005. Yeah. YouTube had just launched.
Yeah.
And the original video is still up. That's the one that I watched.
I still see it.
Crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
I have a very obvious answer for this one, and I will say this might be more exclusive to just like my area and things like that. And I want to preface this by saying this person very clearly has an untreated mental illness, and which
As
is
we've
why
discussed on the show
Okay.
before, mental illness does not make you a shitty person, but doing shitty things when you have a mental illness is not an excuse.
yes, when you correct. This person has a mental illness, underwent a lot of trauma, and clearly nobody told him no at any point. However, I have very, very fond memories of listening to Kanye West's early stuff. I loved him for a very, very long time, and
That's
it was
a
very,
hard one.
Okay, you have
That's
to.
a
Here's the
hard
thing:
one.
you have to understand that, especially he's from Chicago, so like he's like he was like ours, and we were very excited for somebody to make it through. And I grew up listening to his early stuff, and his early stuff, he was genuinely a fucking genius before he went off the fucking rails, which makes me so fucking sad. So this is honestly this is what
Stronger
prompted
is
this
a
conversation.
great song.
I will say there is this kind of thing with
That's
Kanye, with
fair.
specifically his fans, of the level of copium they had to inject over time. Like that was one of the slowest burns of like fandom to like everybody kind of collectively getting on the same page. It was
Yes.
interesting. And it's like it's going back to what you
Mhm.
said. It's just like, was he a genius with a lot of great ideas and did a lot of great stuff? Absolutely.
Mhm.
Were there problems that weren't getting treated appropriately, and he maybe surrounded himself with people who didn't hold him accountable? Also, yes.
Correct.
And then
yeah,
eventually it gets to the point like you can
Yeah.
only tolerate certain behaviors for so long before people just kind of are done with you.
that's kind of where I'm like,
But honestly, what does Gaga know about Polaroid? Sorry.
I don't know
Again,
that reference.
Broken
Okay.
broken
Oh, you
clock,
know?
right? Twice a day.
It's a
He was
Kanye
right in
quote.
that rant. That
Okay.
rant was correct.
I'm just like, but I'm thinking like college dropout, late registration, like his very, very
Yeah.
early stuff. Like that is something I grew up on, and those songs are so fucking good. And I'm sad that I can't listen to them because I was like, oh, you are again. His mom passing away, I think what really triggered, and then him just being surrounded by yes men, and he needs treatment, he needs help. I think there's a world where he wasn't a garbage person, and that's what breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, and again, this guy clearly has a lot fucking wrong with
And,
him,
look, and
it makes me
again,
sad.
going back to like broken clock is right twice a day. George Bush did not care about black people, and
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
that's
he was
right.
100% right. He was very justified, and people act like he was so weird. I was like, no, he was totally right.
just the look on Mike
He
Myers'
was
face,
right
just like what the
this
fuck.
time.
Also,
No,
I did
that's-
mention Graduation, which was also a really great album. So
Yeah,
he had a lot of.
yeah.
He was very fucking talented, and again, there's a world where he did not go off the fucking rails, and it's not this one.
Look, if you started like defending anything like I would say post Kim Kardashian, then I would be like, Brie, we need to talk.
Oh my god, no.
But the fact that you are talking about like graduation and dropout and all that stuff, I'm just like, okay, cool. We're on
It's
the
just-
same
yeah.
page. Okay.
Yeah, I have a lot of attachment. That was literally like one of the first CDs that like my sister bought, and we would listen to it fucking constantly. So I'm like, this is like what I grew up with. So I'm just like, oh god, why? But yeah, he sucks now. And also fuck the Kardashians, just in case they hadn't said that recently. Not because
Yeah.
of the sex tape, because they're filthy fucking capitalists.
I
and fuck
was
them.
about to say the sex tape is probably one of the
Yeah,
more
and-
relatable things they've ever done.
Yeah.
Great tape. But no, they're also partially responsible for the fires in LA because of like them petitioning water shit and whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so much happening in the
That-
world, it's hard to pay attention.
They're garbage people. We already know that. We don't need to go too far.
Although I did
into
want
it.
to say one more thing about the Kardashians, just because I will say it's something that's really encouraged me. Again, TikTok thing. Somebody posted a video about how they're like, your content can never be as bad as Kendall Jenner, or it was one of them. I don't remember. She did like a "What's in My Bag" video, and I encourage you to watch it because I've never seen a person try to act like a
Yeah.
human and fail so fucking miserably. And I'm just like, and they're basically their whole thesis was, if she can put this content out and people will watch it, you can put your content out. Like, there's no way you can make anything fucking worse than that. And I was like, Fuck yeah. Yeah, that's right.
I don't know why, but you made me think of the Pepsi commercial from back in the day.
Yes, exactly.
I know. I thought the Pepsi commercial too.
And I remember when I saw that commercial, it's just like I need somebody to redub this commercial with suicidal tendencies institutionalized, specifically the Pepsi bit of that song. Because like I feel like there's a way you could edit that song in that fits. All I wanted was a Pepsi.
I put up a TikTok after Madam Web came out that was saying, I can't believe that the hero the whole time was Pepsi. And one of my friends commented on it and said, so Kendall Jenner was right the whole time.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that comment too, specifically on that video.
Hero of the people, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, cancel artists you have a hard time deleting. Again, we talked about it a little bit in the pre-show, but there's like obviously some stuff in like the pop punk community where like there's always something coming out. So I'm sure some band I listened to back in these days is gonna get canceled. But like I always like have this moment where like something comes out and like it's just like this band is canceled. It's like, wait, is it one of the bands I listen to? And then it's just like, no, it's not. I'm like, oh, hey, cool.
Clear.
That happens so often. I mentioned
you hear
the
something
front
terrible about a band from Warped Tour, and you're like, I guess I remember them being on the bill. I didn't go see them that day.
Because like I remember when Brand New, their lead singer basically got outed for again like messing with underage girls. And I was just like, I've maybe listened to like 2 Brand New songs in my lifetime, so like I don't have an emotional attachment to it. And then
you want to know how spiteful I am? I dated a woman over. It's got to be 15 years ago now. Brand New was her favorite band. After we broke up, I stopped listening to Brand New, and I have not listened to them since. Yeah. That's how spiteful I am.
Yeah, I can name like 2 Brand New songs that I listened to, and then finding out that like, you know, the lead singer was garbage. I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Front Bottoms, that's another one where it's just like I discovered them late, found out about the stuff. I was like, oh well, I hadn't had enough time to form like, you know, enough of attachment to this band. There's a lot of
that's another one that a girlfriend of mine listened to, and she was like, I'm gonna play this band for you, but I need you to know all of the horrible things about this singer first. They're a good band, but you need this knowledge going.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do you still listen to them?
But again, like when Remix to Ignition comes on, like, you know, it's like, that's a bop.
It's a pretty good song. I feel like you always say hot and fresh out the kitchen, like, and then you just kind of go from there. So
yeah. But like,
it happens a lot.
But there was that whole thing about like Universal paying to the victims, like for the royalties. So like, it makes you feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
About it.
Sometimes
I don't know.
It's okay.
Again, I can't remember the last time I listened to really a Diddy song that didn't have Biggie on it. So I'm just kind of like, I can separate the two pretty easily.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. I was never into Diddy.
I don't think
I was always
Luc Besson's a piece of shit, and he wrote and directed Fifth Element.
Oh, yeah. Which we just watched and talked about how shitty of a trope they use.
Yeah.
I watched it for free, so.
Yeah. I bought my Blu-ray copy at a thrift store. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I paid $3 to YouTube, so I'm the biggest piece of shit on this podcast.
How could you?
Well, we already knew that. That's the one that would probably get me. There are probably more directors and like actors and stuff that I still watch. More so than bands, because I'm pretty good at that. I haven't watched anything Kevin Spacey in a long time, but I really did love House of Cards.
Oh, did I tell you guys about like how so I mentioned a few podcasts ago that like Albuquerque Comic Con like had Kevin Spacey as like a main attraction for celebrity guest. He canceled apparently.
Oh, did he?
All right.
Did he cancel?
And now like but like,
Come up.
but now like half of the celebrity lineup
Did
that
he
they had.
cancel or was he canceled?
That's what I'm saying.
But like now, like half of their celebrity like lineup has canceled, partially because of the LA wildfires, and partially just because like a lot of them just like, sorry, I got work, so I'm gonna not go to your shitty convention.
Fair.
Fox. You're good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I'm looking over at my physical media collection, just hoping for anything to jump out at me.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things
mean,
where there's an aspect of this gets talked about a lot with separating art from the artist, and I also think it's how much attached your relationship with is to both the art and the artist. Because like I'm pretty good about like, this is a really good song. I don't much give a crap who made it. If I find out who made it like is a shitty person, it's just like, okay, well, F them, or however I kind of want to go about it. Like, I don't create parasocial relationships in that way, so it makes it easier for me to kind of just abandon things when it's just like, oh, okay, well, shitty person, not going to deal with them.
That's a good take. Honestly, shout out to all people who are still Harry Potter fans. Let that shit go. It's please.
Absolutely.
Stop fucking
Take
giving
that
her
shit
money.
out of your bio.
Yeah. I was like, buy the book secondhand, unlicensed merch, unlicensed fan art, like bootleg
100%.
everything. Like, if that's how you want to engage
Don't go
with
to
it.
Universal.
Yes.
Also, like, look, we will start a fund to get all of your guys' Death Eater tattoos removed because that was fucking weird to begin with.
Yup.
Yep.
I don't know how people still justify that. I'm like, just let it go, please. It wasn't that fucking good to be. Like, I grew up with it as well.
I
don't care. Like, let it fucking go.
But like, again, going back to the Death Eater's tattoo thing, is just like, why did you identify with the fascist element of this story exactly?
Yup.
Could you please explain that to me real quick?
That's fine.
Well, it's like all the people. It's like the 501st, the people who dress up like stormtroopers, and it's like, oh, you realize you're the bad guys, right? Even though you're doing all this charity work, you're the fascists of the story.
Yeah.
I do not want the 501st coming after us.
I was about to say to my Dewback Garrison, Albuquerque 501st, you guys are okay in my book. The Empire are fascist. Official stance of the show.
Yes.
But we're cool in the Dewback Garrison. We're cool, Albuquerque.
I did remember another one, and that's why I scooted away for a second. I have a signed copy of The Room by Tommy Wiseau.
Oh God.
Tommy Wiseau is probably one of the worst fucking people who has ever lived, and he is just an asshole. But yeah, I own this. I bought this knowing what a piece of shit he was, and had it signed. And that's not a good reflection on me at all.
You don't have it framed though. It's not like displayed. Right?
I do have his headshot that it came with framed.
So Seth is number one Tommy Wiseau apologist on here.
I think we just
No, I am goddamn not.
The Room is
How
a
dare you say that?
The Room is a cinematic masterpiece. Official stance of Seth.
The Room.
not the show. Not the show.
Not the show, just me. Just
Yeah,
me.
official stance of
It's
Seth,
not
not the
even
show.
my favorite bad movie. Like, The Room isn't even my favorite bad movie. It's Q the Winged Serpent and The Stuff. They're tied for my favorite bad movie, and they were written and directed by the same person. Also probably a piece of shit, but I haven't looked into it yet, okay?
Again, don't meet your heroes. Most
Never
artists
meet your heroes.
Don't have heroes. How about that?
Yeah, most artists are very troubled people, and for those who are dealing with some shit, give them room for forgiveness, but also hold them accountable when they're shitty people.
Yeah.
And people are allowed to grow and change,
Also,
but they actually have to make the effort to.
Now, upon further reflection, both since Q the Winged Serpent and The Stuff were written by the same person, it makes a lot of sense why at some point a single character goes on an extremely racist rant. Maybe don't support those movies either.
Steph's
There we
learning a
go.
lot about his Blu-ray collection all of a sudden.
Yeah,
I am. I am.
Welcome to Let's Curate Seth's Blu-ray collection episode.
I'm gonna
Today-
have to burn these, aren't I? I gotta get rid of these. I just bought this one too.
Tell you what, we'll burn them to a hard drive and put them onto a pirate site that people don't have to pay to watch them. How's that
There we
sound?
go. Giving back to the community.
I like that. I'll take that.
Yeah.
What's even worse is I watched Q the Winged Serpent on a pirated site and then chose to buy it. So I'm a piece of shit.
The first
You heard
step
it
is
here
admitting
first.
you have a problem.
Yeah.
I forgot the other 11.
I know admitting there's a higher power is one of them, and I deeply
Yeah,
can we talk
I
about the problem with the AA 12-step system?
The problem is the 12-step
Because
AA
I have
system.
some severe issues with AA.
Glug glug.
Like I said, the first step is admitting
Yep.
you have a problem. The other 11 steps, meh.
I considered chugging that after that joke, and I was like, I'm not going to do that.
I wouldn't recommend it. Is it another Steel Reserve?
No, it's a New Belgium. Thank you very much.
Not
Oh, look at you.
better. At least you paid more money for it.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Alright.
How do I report bullying on this app? Discord has a bullying
so you
function.
have to report that with HR from TCK Media. Bo is in charge of HR. So
Emily! I have a
she's not home. She can't hear you scream.
Oh man. Oh, puppy. He's trying to help you. He can't be helped, honey.
He is.
Uh,
He's trying though. He's trying his best, and it's giving him so much anxiety.
Okay.
all right. So last topic of the show. Do we all have something for Nerd Show and Tell, or do we need to punt this to another episode?
I got something, but
I
we can pump it to another episode.
Up to y'all, because I technically have something, but it's a small something. So
I got a small something too. So let's go.
let's go.
All right, go.
All right, Seth. What you got?
Show the class.
I got the evil talking Krusty doll from the Simpsons Halloween Special 4.
Oh wow.
It came in the original box. This was my Christmas present this year, and I've been freaking out over it.
Very cool.
It has the pull string and the evil good switch, like in the episode.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's a nice detail.
Yeah. So, sorry.
I just said that was a nice detail.
Yeah, very cool. I love that.
Oh yeah. I fucking love this thing. It's so silly, but I love
That's
it.
amazing.
And Bo wants it so badly.
Yeah, he wants to eat it. He takes all of my plushies. He's eaten most of my Pokemon plushies. That's
Oh,
why
no.
Mimikyu is up on my desk. Because I
Oh,
can't. He
baby.
ate my Score Bunny.
Oh,
How
that's
dare he.
sad.
Yeah.
It looked tasty. That's not his
I
fault.
don't know any Pokemon after Gen 3, so none of that meant anything to me.
Okay.
All right. I can show mine really quick. I don't. It's just a small thing. Because I just started playing D&D like in the last year or so. I did get for Christmas. I got a dice goblin. And he's so cute.
Aw.
He's
Look
so
at that dice goblin.
adorable. And I also have like, because they asked me last time, they're like, "How many pairs of dice do you have?" And I, for context, which I think is the right way to do it, I have not bought a single set of dice at all. They have all been gifted to me, and I think I have about 20 sets. But this is like one of my newest ones. They're the Beauty
Pretty.
Guru thing, so it's like
Ooh.
green. And actually, I'm hoping I didn't
Green and
lose
gold.
it.
Great combination.
Yes. With the dice goblin came a mini set of dice.
Aww. That's cute.
So cute, but I literally have so many dice, and I am a dice goblin myself now, and I feel like I've really, I've peaked. I'm level 4
That seems
now.
like
so
the
I'm pretty
way it
excited.
goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
How long did it
Ooh.
take you to get to level
that's-
4?
almost 2 years.
Yeah.
With our main campaign. I will say, one, we fuck around a lot, and I almost died in our last session because our barbarian decided to there was a mysterious, we were in a waiting room, we were just supposed to wait, and there was this giant Jack-in-the-Box, and our barbarian's like, I'm gonna go wind that thing, and I was like, don't fucking do it. It was a dragon in there. A very high level dragon. I got killed in one hit, and almost our entire party did. But thankfully, once you get the dragon down to like 50% health, it retreats. So miraculously, we all lived. But I was like, this sucks. I hate this game. Oh, and also the chairs that we were sitting on had a 50% chance of being mimics. And one of them
Oh
was.
God, why does your DM hate you so much?
She's very pregnant right now, so I think.
Oh, so she's going through it. Got it. She's going through it. Got it. She's just like, if I'm not having a good time,
I'm taking this out on you.
100%. But yeah.
All right. Well, actually, in a similar vein, I am actually getting ready to start my first ever D&D/Pathfinder campaign. Actually, next weekend. I just had my session 0. So getting my character's lore and everything kind of established for the story. I am playing a orc ranger because, on brand for me. But I have my little dice tray with all of the dice that I have for it.
Oh, nice!
And so I bought this nice little kind of brass metal set of dice. When I did my session 0 and I mentioned my dice, the DM was like, I really like my game table, so you need to get a dice tray. So I had to get a dice tray with it.
Oh, super fair. I need to get a dice tray. I don't have one.
So I have that kind of metal set of dice, and then last time me and Emily were in Austin, she found this little bone wood set of dice.
Cool.
So this is Emily's set of dice that she's gonna have for her campaign. She's playing a rogue because of course she is.
Is she a tiefling?
She's not a tiefling. She is. I don't remember. I think she's half elfing this campaign.
Okay.
But she is notoriously a rogue and a loot goblin, so that's basically what her character is going to be. And so I'm already establishing the role play of me just being the person who's constantly annoyed with her.
Bisexuals are always rogues. It's our first choice.
Yeah.
Also tieflings usually, which my character is a tiefling rogue. So.
Yeah. But no, I'm really excited.
A paladin. What does that make me?
Christian.
Oh. That actually
Christian.
totally, that tracks completely.
As soon as he said it, I was just like, religious trauma?
Yup, that actually really tracks. You're like, oh, it all makes sense.
Funny.
Wait, what race were you though?
It's I don't remember. It's been 6 years.
As long as you
don't
don't say human. If you said human paladin, we'd be like, KKK.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Bro.
Oh.
That also checks out from my upbringing. I was expecting a bigger laugh from that.
Yeah.
Can we strike that from the podcast?
No.
I want that
No.
deleted.
No, absolutely not. I already have to edit out
Clip.
I already have to edit out half the intro.
That's because you used my actual email address.
I didn't think that was real.
It's your fault for using a very obvious email address.
I came up with it when I was 16. Leave me alone.
Regardless,
It's
so
not my
anyway,
fault. Most of my social medias are connected to it.
regardless, my default classes are normally Ranger, Warlock, or Paladin.
Fair.
And then I never choose human as a race, because why would you?
Fair.
That's fair.
When you could be anything else.
I only do Rogue and Barbarian because those are just fun and easy to play and easy to learn.
That's fair. She doesn't want to know how spell slots work. She just wants to steal
I do
stuff.
not. I absolutely do fucking not. In Baldur's Gate, I do play a druid, and I'm just like, this is the only context in which I will play anything close to this.
Because they make it simple to understand. You don't have a spell slot. You can't do that.
They're like, one of my friends asked me, they're like, well, why do you like Baldur's Gate so much if, and I'm like, they make it easy. They make it so easy to just do the thing. If I can't do it, I can't do it.
Yeah, the guardrails are there, and they make it very clear how the guardrails work.
Yeah, not doing that in real life.
Yeah. Anyways, so that is the conclusion to this episode of Internet Friends, which brings us to our next homework assignment. And so, actually related to a previous topic we had, I want to clear something out of my backlog, so I want us to play Portal.
Oh.
Yeah! That was gonna be my next homework assignment. This is about my time of year that I replay both games. So yes.
So last summer sale, I got Portal and Portal 2 for pretty cheap. I know they're very short games, so I would say let's play at least the first one. If you have time to play the second one, cool. If you don't make it for the second one, no harm, no foul. They should be pretty affordable.
The second one has a much better story, in my opinion.
How long are they?
So at least
it's like 5 to 8 hours.
That depends on how well you're. Yeah, it depends on how good you are at the puzzles. I can get through Portal 2 in about 9 hours.
Okay.
I can also get through Portal 1 in about 45 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, Portal 1's notoriously short.
Yeah. Bear in mind, I have played these games once a year for the last 12 years. So I know these things. I have them memorized.
I'll play the first one for sure. So we'll see. I'm not good. I'm not.
Yeah,
good
I'll
at puzzles,
definitely.
but I'm getting better at them. So we'll see how I do.
Yeah. So yeah, our next Portal will be our next homework assignment. We'll have that ready to go in a couple of weeks. And other than that, I am TCK Media on most platforms. You have That's F23, who you can find on the Little Red Book, and eventually on YouTube with Like Totally Awesome 23. Totally not a ripoff of a former YouTube community we were a part of.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Not a ripoff at all.
And then
you
have
can
the
also find me on Lemonade by That Set 23. You can also find me on Blue Sky, That Says 23.
Yeah, nobody used Facebook or Twitter. Official stance of the show.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Then you got the Raccoon-a-Loon herself. You can check her out on Game Birds. It's a regular podcast she does with her friend Alice, talking about indie video games. If you want less Seth and Aaron and more Bree and more indie games, great show to listen to. Highly recommend it.
Why wouldn't you want more Brie without Seth and Aaron?
I do love a good Brie, especially with like little tiny crackers and everything. You just spread it.
Delicious.
God damn it! I was about to say that.
Anyways, that's all we have for the show, guys. We appreciate you, and we'll see you all next time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.